Have you ever felt that wonderful joy of meeting someone new, feeling your heart lighten, a smile that appears out of nowhere? But then comes that butterflies in your stomach, that pang of fear about what your family will think, as if instead of celebrating with you, they're already ready to judge, point fingers, or even try to clip your wings. If this has happened to you, know that you're not alone. And that's why today I want to talk about something very important: how to protect this new love from the opinions and negativity that, unfortunately, sometimes come from where we least expect it. The truth is, after 60, we've been through a lot. We've cried, we've laughed, we've built, we've lost, we've started over. When love returns, it doesn't come like a storm, but like a winter sun, calm, warm, serene. And that's precisely why it deserves care. You can't let bitter comments or sidelong glances take away that shine that's yours alone. Often, families don't even realize how much they're hurting. They think they're helping, protecting, when in reality, they're intruding on a very intimate level. It could be an adult child who still sees you as the same mother or father you were when they were little. It could be a grandchild who finds it strange to see you holding hands with someone new. It could even be a brother or sister who thinks they're too old to fall in love. But let me tell you something. There's no expiration date on love. There's no rule saying that after a certain age, we can only care for others and forget about ourselves. Your heart is still beating. Your life is still unfolding, and it's yours. The first thing we need to do is recognize that this love is legitimate. It seems simple, but many people hide behind it, apologizing for being happy, as if they need approval to smile. And they don't. The simple fact that you're feeling good with someone is reason enough to respect that relationship, even if it's new, even if people don't understand. You understand, and that's already a lot. Another important point is to be clear about what truly makes you feel good. Sometimes, amidst the confusion of other people's opinions, we start to doubt ourselves. Am I deluding myself? Is it wrong to get involved again? Will they judge me? And then, without realizing it, you start to distance yourself from what made you smile. This is dangerous, because little by little, you mold yourself to what others expect, and you stop listening to what your heart has to say. Of course, you can listen to advice, we all can, but it's one thing to listen with an open heart, another to let others' voices drown out your own. There's a difference between care and control, and unfortunately, some people confuse the two. True care doesn't hold you back, it supports you. It reaches out when you need it, but it doesn't drag you away from what makes you happy. There's an image I really like to use. Imagine your new relationship as a garden you're just starting to plant. It still has a few flowers, but the fragrance is already beginning to appear. If you let people trample this garden with criticism, doubts, and judgments, it won't grow. Now, if you surround this garden with care, patience, and firmness, it will flourish even if the climate around it is difficult. And protecting this garden doesn't mean fighting with family. It's not about cutting ties or building walls. It's about knowing how far others can go. It's about saying, gently but firmly, I understand your concern, but this is my decision. It's about not justifying every step, not begging for understanding, not living as if you owe someone a debt of love. Another essential consideration is what you share. Not everyone needs to know everything. Sometimes we have this urge to share every detail, every piece of news, hoping others will rejoice with us. But that's not always the case. And when a cold response or a nasty comment arrives, it hurts. So choose wisely with whom you share your joy. Not every ear is safe. Not every comment deserves a response. And you know what else helps a lot? Talking to someone who understands. It could be a friend, someone who's been through it. When we hear someone say, "It happened to me too," it feels like our hearts breathe easier, because you realize you're not crazy, you're not needy, you're not exaggerating. You're simply living again. And look, living after 60 is a gift. We already know what we want. We no longer waste time on nonsense, and we have a clarity that only time brings. For this very reason, this new love deserves even more respect, including yours. Don't hide it. Don't diminish it. Don't be ashamed. And if someone makes you feel bad about it, maybe it's not love that's the problem. Maybe it's the way they look at you. Sometimes family negativity doesn't come with harsh words. It comes with silence, with that look that says, I don't approve, but I won't say anything.
And this kind of silent judgment can be even harder to deal with because there's no one to argue with, no dialogue, just a heavy weight in the air. And then, more than ever, you need to remember, your happiness doesn't have to fit anyone's mold. You've shaped your entire life to meet the expectations. You've raised children, taken care of the house, worked, held down the fort. Now it's time to listen to yourself, to respect yourself. And that starts by protecting what makes you feel good. Even if it's a love that arrived quietly, even if it came when no one expected it. And speaking of good things that arrive quietly, I want to continue this conversation with you because there are still more paths for us to explore together. There are more ways to protect this feeling, more ways to shield yourself from negativity, and above all, more reasons to believe that, yes, you deserve to be happy, now and always. You know, there's one thing we learn over time. We can't control what others think, but we can choose how much it affects us. And when we're experiencing something good, like a new relationship, that choice becomes even more important. It's as if we have to build a small shield around what's precious, a shield made of love, patience, and above all, awareness of who we are and what we want. Some people will say, oh, but if your family doesn't support you, it's because something's wrong. And look, not always. Sometimes what bothers you isn't the relationship itself, but the fact that you're happy. It may sound harsh, but it happens. Other people's happiness can stir hidden insecurities, even within your own family. And then the problem isn't you, it's the mirror you've become. When you start smiling again, taking better care of yourself, having different plans, it can make those accustomed to seeing you always available uncomfortable. It's as if you've stepped out of a role already expected of you, that of the mother or father who lives for others, the grandmother who only cares, the elderly who should have settled down by now. But the truth is, the main role in your life is yours, and no one else can write it for you. Now, protecting this love also involves learning to say no with kindness. This can be difficult at first because we come from a generation taught to please, to give in, to not make waves. But sometimes self-love requires a well-placed no. A no that says, I won't give up what's good for me just to maintain artificial peace. Of course, it doesn't have to be a blunt or rude no. It can be a calm, respectful, yet firm no. For example, I understand that you have concerns, but I also have the right to be happy. Or even, I appreciate your opinion, but this decision is mine. These are simple phrases, but they carry enormous power. They establish boundaries without building walls. And here's a tip that can really help. Agree with your partner how to handle these moments together. Because sometimes the problem isn't just what family members say, but the impact it has on the relationship. The other person may feel rejected, uncomfortable, or even insecure because of the tense atmosphere around them. So it's worth having this conversation with the person you're with. Look, my family might not react well at first, but that has nothing to do with how I feel about you. This shows maturity and commitment. You've become allies on this journey, and that strengthens your connection. Another helpful thing is to remember the good things this relationship has brought to your life. When criticism comes, and it will, stop for a moment and think, what has this relationship done for me? Have I felt more alive? Have I rediscovered simple pleasures like walking hand in hand, laughing leisurely, having someone to share my day with? These answers are like anchors. They remind you of the true value of what you're building, even if the surroundings are turbulent. It's like that old saying, "He who's in the pot knows the seasoning." Only you know what you feel. Only you experience this love. Others look from the outside, and those who look from the outside don't see the heart. Now, a very common and painful situation is when family negativity comes disguised as concern. You know that kind of comment that starts with, "It's for your own good," but ends with criticism or judgment. It may even come across as sweet, but the venom is there. And this is dangerous because it makes us doubt our own ability to choose. So when you hear these things, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this person speaking with love or fear? Because they are two very different paths. True love welcomes even when there are doubts. Fear, on the other hand, tries to control. And we can't live other people's lives just so they can feel at ease. There's something beautiful that happens when we take a stand with affection. The people around us begin to realize that our happiness is real. At first, there may be resistance, but over time, if you maintain serenity, respect, and firmness, many end up accepting, even supporting you, because truth wins, peace wins, and love is hard to deny when it's true. And here, I want to remind you of something essential. Your worth doesn't depend on anyone's approval. You don't need to be allowed to love. You've been through so much in life, faced loss, cared for so many, overcome pain. Now it's time to take care of yourself, to allow someone to take care of you too. And if this bothers someone, perhaps they need to look more inward and less at you. You have the right to experience a light, sincere, guilt-free love. A love that makes you smile in the mirror, that reminds you of who you are, beyond labels, roles, and obligations. A love that sees you as you deserve to be seen, whole, present, capable of loving and being loved. What if the family is still resistant? Well, then we can continue moving forward calmly. No one changes their mind overnight, but you can stay strong, showing with your actions that you're okay, showing that this new love didn't take anything away from anyone. It came to add to it. It brought color, lightness, companionship, and that's what we'll continue exploring together. Because there's still so much to talk about. There are more ways to strengthen yourself, to protect this relationship without isolating yourself, to build a new stage of life with love, without guilt, without fear. And I'm here to remind you, once again, you deserve all of this and more. You know when you meet someone who makes you feel good, and suddenly it feels like the world starts to have a little more color? Breakfast tastes different, the day seems lighter, and even the little things take on new meaning. It's as if your heart says, "I'm here, still beating strong, still wanting to live." And that in itself is a miracle. But even so, this beautiful new beginning often comes with a silent challenge, dealing with family resistance. And protecting this new love becomes almost a daily mission, a delicate dance between caring for those we love and profound respect for those who chose us to live this new chapter. And protecting this love isn't about hiding, it's about strengthening yourself. It's not about building walls, but about cultivating roots. It means looking at yourself with kindness and saying, "I deserve this experience. I deserve this affection, this companionship, this second chance." Have you ever noticed how different mature love is? It doesn't come with the rush of youth, nor with the idealizations of movies. It comes with its feet on the ground, but its heart soaring.
It comes with the truth in a gaze, with comfortable silence, with the joy of simply being. It doesn't demand eternal promises, but cherishes every moment. And that has no age. That's why this experience is worth protecting, because it's not just anything. It's a piece of freedom you've earned. And if anyone tries to take it away from you, with harsh words, with disguised criticism, or even with that indifference that hurts, remember, those who truly love you want you to be happy, even if they don't understand it right away. Many people in our generation grew up believing they needed others' approval to be happy. And that's not quite true. We do need respect, dialogue, and coexistence, but above all, we need courage. The courage to say, yes, I chose this love, and yes, it's good for me. This courage can transform not only your love life, but all your relationships. Because when you stand up with love and firmness, people begin to see your strength. And often, even those who criticized you begin to admire your stance. It's as if, little by little, that invisible wall gives way to a bridge built with patience, truth, and presence. And you know what? Not everyone will understand your love, and that's okay. The important thing is that you understand, that you feel, that you live. Life after 60 isn't the end of the road, it's the beginning of a new path. Calmer, more conscious, but equally rich in possibilities.
That there's still time to love, to smile, to be happy, for real. Now I want to ask you something from the bottom of my heart. If this conversation touched you in any way, if it helped you see your story more clearly, if it gave you the strength to protect your love, then please return this affection. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving conversations like this that speak from the heart, without rushing, without judgment. Leave your like. This simple gesture really helps the channel reach other people who may be going through the same situation as you. Share this video with someone special, a friend, someone who needs to hear these words. And leave it here in the comments. Have you ever experienced something similar? How did you deal with your family's opinions? Your experience can inspire others too. Remember, you are not alone. Here, in this space, we believe that after 60, there is still room for love, for choice, for joy. Life doesn't end, it transforms. And it's up to you to decide the tone of this new phase. Thank you for being here with me. Take care of yourself, take care of your heart, and take care of this beautiful love that is being born or reborn within you. See you in the next video. See you then.